Hi, welcome to How to RPG. My name is Fred Weller, and today I want to talk about The Legend of Zelda. This is fan-made, The Legend of Zelda. It is Dungeons & Dragons 5e compatible, and it's completely free. It will not cost you a cent. I do not kid you. It's true. Honestly, it's true. It is out there. It exists. So there are, in fact, 3 fan-made, free Legend of Zelda Dungeons & Dragons 5e compatible documents available that you can download. And I'll talk more about that in a second. But let's just go over the different documents and what's in them. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for 5e it's actually written and compiled or designed by Caleb Wichman. This supplement has a large number of illustrators from different artists, which I will not name because there's too many. There are 50 pages in the PDF, so it's not huge. The document's actually really well set up, and it's in full colour. It looks very professional. There are 2 detailed maps of the world of Hyrule, or the world of Zelda, I guess. The Kingdom of Hyrule is something I'm not very familiar with, but I'll do my best to hopefully I don't get anything wrong. There are 5 different races provided. The Gerudo, the Goron, the Hylan, the Rito, and the Zora. Now, I understand that the first ones that I've just mentioned are actually they're not really like a species, they're just a version of humans in some way. Zora obviously are not. There's a brief rundown of the gods and goddesses of Hyrule. There's a table of languages with standard and exotic dialects available to you. There's a small range of about 30 magic items from the Zelda setting. You can see that I did not realize this is kind of fun. There are 4 beast vehicles with stat blocks and game mechanics so you can use them in your game. I think that's quite cool. There are 30 monster stat blocks for creatures found in Hyrule. There are 16 boss monsters and their stat blocks for those climactic battles when you have a battle. There's very little lore in this document. It's all very much crunch mechanics. It's done all the hard work for you, but if you needed lore, that's not baked into this particular document. It's really there with just the tools. So almost everything is provided, almost everything. There is still an index in the back of the supplement. Even for 50 pages, they've done a contents page and an index, which I think is quite good. The next one, this is The Legend of Zelda, the D&D 5e campaign setting, and it's the Player's Guide. There's actually 2 of these. I'll talk about the Player's Guide first. We have D.A. Clark. He has written, I don't know if it's a he or a she. I honestly was not able to find out what their first name was, but it's listed as D.A. Clark, written and edited the semi-professional document. This is not a very professional looking document. It's still clean and tidy and easy to find everything, but not quite as impressive as the first one I was talking about. There are 40 pages in the PDF. The document is generally set up pretty well. It's all right, and it's full color still. It has a contents table, but it does not have an index, and it probably, I don't know if it needed to have an index. I would say it's always good to have an index as well as a contents page, unless your contents page serves as your index as well. There's a map and a lot of lore around Hyrule. It's explained well. There are only 7 races provided, but there are a bunch of sort of sub-races as well. So when I list these off, you'll have to excuse me, but I did not decide to list off every single sub-race. I'm just giving you the actual, I guess, species or races. So there's humans, Zora, Deku, Deku, I think it's called Deku, Koriri, Gordon, and is it Tweely? I think it's Tweely. So there's quite a few, considering that I think that's kind of about what you get in the world of Hyrule. I'm not completely familiar with this game, so I'm doing my best here, people. The class information is fluff and lore, and it's sort of what it's trying to do is trying to take the differences that you would find with the classes for Dungeons & Dragons 5e and compare them with what you would probably be doing with them in Hyrule. So it's taking what is generally generic stuff and trying to give it some context for the Hyrule setting. Backgrounds from the Player's Handbook for Dungeons & Dragons 5e. they have been connected to the ZELDA history. So you'll find that a lot of the backgrounds give you a little bit more. It's not crunch. It's not an actual background. It's just how you would fit the existing backgrounds that exist in the player's handbook for 5e into this document. You also get the gods and domains of Hyrule. They're highlighted. I wouldn't say there's a lot of deep detail in there, but there's certainly enough information to get by. And there are some basic color artwork in the supplement. There's not a lot of artwork in this book, but there's some very basic color artwork in here. Certainly more than the next book that I'm about to talk about, which is very, very much a Game Master campaign guide. The last one, this is the Legend of Zelda D&D 5e campaign setting, and this is the Master's Guide. Again, it is D.A. Clark who has written and edited the semi-professional document. It has 41 pages in the PDF, and is generally, as I said, set up very much like the other one. It's set up all right. It's full color. It has a contents page, but no index again. The majority of the book is lore and specific locations in Hyrule. There's a small list of sort of setting-specific equipment and magic items. They certainly have been provided. I don't know that you necessarily got a lot. There's an extensive section that offers suggestions for plot hooks for Hyrule in a Zelda campaign. And I thought this was wonderful. So they've actually given you the sort of tools to make your own adventures. So they're not providing you with an adventure, but they're giving you the tools so you can make your own adventure. There's one alternative rule, and it's based on alignment, because alignment would look or feel differently in Hyrule rather than looking at the game in terms of Dungeons and Dragons generically. So some of the alignment has been adjusted so that it fits within that those parameters. There's very little artwork in this document. It's just a tool. That's all it is. Now, I have to say, I'm not going to give you like a rundown of my opinion of how good these documents are, because these were made by fans. They were made for free. You do not need to pay for them. So I'm not going to tell you or critique and say how good or bad they are. If you want to use them, great. That's all I have to say. So I want to thank my patrons who support me on Patreon. I want to thank you for watching. And if you want these documents, down in the description, you can download all of this. It's in the description. Just go there, download it, check it out for yourself, and see what you think. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s.